You know, if you're anything like me, and gosh, who isn't, you maybe like to live your life a little bit outside the beaten path. Maybe don't go with the most traditional things. Maybe a little bit, you know, march to the tune of a different electrician, that sort of thing. Maybe don't care about what's trending and what's popular and what the you know, self-proclaimed cool kids are into. Maybe you don't care about that stuff and you just want to be you and you do different things, you know, just do things a little bit differently, and you don't care that much about what's in the news, the cause célèbre of the day and that kind of thing. Maybe don't affect you as much as the more mainstream types. But you know, even if you're that sort of person, which I'm, there are occasions when you find yourself doing something that everybody else does, that all the people do, that the popular, the mainstream, the masses, you find yourself doing something that the masses do. And you know, that can be a broadening and enriching experience. Get outside your comfort zone once in a while, because you can't just declare everything that's popular is bad and wrong. Mostly yes, but not everything, not right across the board. So once in a while you find yourself doing something that everyone else does. And I'm no exception. I did the same thing, which is basically that after going to a convention, I got sick as a dog for a month afterwards. And sick enough in the throat and the lungs and all that kind of upper respiratory thing that I was like, you know, and the voice that sounded like I gargled with sandpaper and had marshmallows shoved up both nostrils, just terrible. And I went to a hospital and everything to get looked at, and the nursing staff there were checking me out and said, "Oh, well, what now? What's the problem?" And I said, "Oh, I'm so tired, and I got the throat and the lungs and the cough, you know." And they said, "Well, I wonder how you picked that up." And I started to say, "Well, I went to a convention a couple of weeks ago," and oh, they stop you right there. You might as well say, "Well, I was running around naked through the freezing rain last night." You might as well say that, because when you say you went to a convention, everyone says, "Oh, a convention? Well, no wonder you're sick." They didn't quite go as far as to add "you big dummy" on there, but you could tell it was in their voices, all of them. And I said, okay, what could I have done to avoid getting sick when I went to the convention? Because the convention itself was great. It was a great convention, but then afterwards everyone went home and got sick, and I joined in. I said, what could I have done? And one of the nurses there said, well, the best thing to do is take those supplements that are, you know, you drop them in water and they fizz, and they're immune boosters. Take those along next time. And I said, I had those, and Laura and I took them every night in our hotel room, and we both still got sick. Any other ideas? And their other idea was, oh, you have to carry hand sanitizer and wash your hands frequently. And I said, I did that. I had a little bottle of it right in my pocket, and every time I had to shake hands with someone, I would like, to the point where I probably looked crazy and paranoid. It brought out the monk in me. Not like the kind that lives in a monastery, the kind like played by Tony Shalhoub, you know, that kind, because I was constantly trying to wash my hands. Didn't matter. So maybe it was from touching the money somebody handed me, or shaking hands, I don't know. But the reason I bring this up is so that you can leave your comments for me as far as what is your suggestion, what do you know that I don't know maybe, that will prevent getting sick right after a convention? What can I do short of staying home? I know that's an option, but I don't want to do that. What can I do to not catch whatever's going around at the next convention? And I ask that knowing that a hospital staff didn't really have any great ideas. Anyway, let's move on to today's mask, because I'm back in action, you know. Now, so stay tuned, little monsters, because today's mask... Oh, don't get ahead of me. You probably did, didn't you? You know what I'm going to say. You know I'm going to say today's mask is called Little Monster, huh? Yeah, it's called Little Monster. Now, don't let that put you off. That doesn't mean it's a mask for babies. So don't be thinking, oh, I don't want a little monster. I couldn't wear it on my head. I want a big monster. What good is it? No. It's not like a little monster, like a mask that fits on your cat or your baby. No. It's just called that. No relation to the terrible movie from the 80s called Little Monsters, and no relation to the old comic book called The Little Monsters. Anybody else remember that? There was a comic book called The Little Monsters. They were a family of Frankenstein monsters. I don't remember much, but as I recall, the family in The Little Monsters, there were two kids, Orrible Orville and Awful Annie. Yeah. And the whole family looked like Frankenstein monsters. As I recall, as I remember them, they kind of looked like what would be the result of if Fred Flintstone either turned into or created Frankenstein monsters. The family looked like that, and they had the big electrodes, the big neck bolts, and the flat head. Anyway, no relation to that. Today's little monster is a mask that's kind of a hard one to get hold of from Ghoulish Productions. How do we know? Because I just told you so. I wouldn't lie to you about a thing like that. It's from Ghoulish Productions, and it looks like this. And as you can see, it's not the most horrifying monster. It's a little bit on the whimsical, cartoony side of monsters, which makes it a good choice for kind of funny situations rather than where you're trying to really terrorize somebody. This is more of a funny one. Okay, well suited to costume parties and Halloween parades, I think, and handing out candy at the door during trick-or-treat. Although it's not a trick-or-treat mask, it's a Ghoulish, but yeah, I told you that. Now, as you can see, it's kind of a tan flesh color, and I didn't do anything to this. Look how great those eyes are. Those eyes are painted so nicely, and these sell for not much money, around $35. You can get one of these. Now, it is kind of small in that it doesn't come way down in the back. It's just right there. Covers the back of your head, but not the back of your neck, in other words. And it has little horns, and it has a little bit of hair stuck in there, a little spriggly hair here and there. And it has this great expression that looks like he's kind of eager and kind of innocent and kind of clueless as far as that he might do something that hurts you. I don't think he means to. He just doesn't know any better. He's, you know, just a little monster. Now, what is he supposed to be? Well, he could be an alien or a lab experiment or a demonic thing. I think he's just sort of a fantasy creature, just an all-purpose monster. Maybe he lives in the woods in a cave or something. But why does he look like this? Because, and he may look familiar to you. He might look familiar, and if he does, gosh, some people's families have such cute children, don't they? Or the other reason that he might look familiar is because you might have seen a prop that came out a few years before. This has been out for like 10 years. It's The Little Monster. And they came out with this, Ghoulish, of course, came out with The Little Monster first. And as you can see, he's a full round. He's not one of those flat back. You can look at him from every angle, and he's a little creepy monster that sits there. And he's great in a room like this one because you could put him on a shelf between books, and he's kind of like a gargoyle, but he's alive, and he's looking down at people, and he's a fun monster. But anyway, they had the idea some years after coming out with the prop, they had the idea to come out with a matching mask, and it was not extremely popular and successful. I don't know why. I thought it was a great idea. For one thing, you could wear this, whether you're male or female, you could wear this and have this with you as like your baby, like it's your child, it's your son here, you know, and you could wrap it in a blanket or something, or put it in a stroller or a crib or something that looks baby appropriate, and then you could dress with your costume with almost anything. I wouldn't go with the standard uniform of human society right now, which is to say black or white t-shirt, blue jeans. I wouldn't go with just the ordinary, but almost anything, depending on what kind of a character you want it to be. But then you're like the daddy or the mommy monster, and you could change the mask up a little bit if you want to add a hat or a wig to make it look more like an obvious feminine creature. You could put a wig on it, or not. But you could use that as any kind of monster at the haunted house or the haunted forest or the haunted trail, or, you know, the haunted mechanic's garage, the haunted insurance office, whatever you're haunting, and have this either in a stroller, and you could even have a creepy light on it, or add a creepy sound effect or a funny sound effect like a crying baby sound, and it's coming from this weird monster. Or you could just carry it around and wear the mask and carry this around like you know, it's your baby and you're showing people your baby and stuff. And I think it would be a fun thing for situations like where people are queuing up, waiting in line to get into your haunted attraction. I think that would be fun. I think it would be fun on trick-or-treat night when kids come to the door. Somebody could be sitting there with the baby in their arms. You know what I'm saying. All right, we're going to get out of here for now and let you get back to whatever you were doing. And then we'll see you back here again later, I hope. Little monsters.